Hi, this is Fredrik Haren from the world of creativity. I am in Melbourne. What can we learn about creativity from a blind person?
Hello, my name's Kathryn McPherson and I'm the lead facilitator at Dialogue in the Dark, presented by the Culture Group. So we do conduct quite a few transformative workshops which are placed in complete darkness. All of our facilitators are either blind or have low vision, and there's so much you can learn from us, so come on down.
So you are visually impaired?
I am, yes, I am legally blind.
So what do people realize when they have to do these exercises in the dark?
The darkness is a really useful tool for learning. There's a lot of trust exercises throughout the workshop. We find that it actually harnesses the learnings a lot better than learning things in the light. You learn to ask for answers, you learn to not make assumptions, which is something that's really important throughout the blindness and low vision community.
So from a creativity point of view, how is creativity triggered by, first of all, being in the dark?
How am I going to, with all these limitations, get the result that I need? And that's where your creativity as participants does generally kick in, because it's not always the first thing that people think of to ask questions. So they always think to themselves, how can I do this without asking help from anyone else? It's always about just being creative and using your imagination.
The other perspective is, so you are more or less living in darkness normally. So what can we learn from you?
You can learn so much from me. So for instance, being adaptive into your environment, and so whether that's a busy sidewalk or, construction has popped up in the city, or if it's, there's no landmarks. For instance, I use things like trees. Probably not the best thing to use as a vision impaired person because trees do get cut down, but that forces me to be quite adaptive to my environment.
So I think this is very interesting. It's about adaptability, yeah?
Yes, yeah.
So you need to adapt to many more things than I need to.
Yes, definitely.
You see a few meters and then it's the unknown after that. So it means you're living much closer to the unknown, which should develop your ability to handle the unknown. How can I become better at handling the unknown based on what you know but I don't know?
So I feel like quite often people who are fully sighted look so far into the future, they forget what's right in front of them. So for me, it's the opposite. I look at what's in front of me and then I slowly work my way towards whatever's 100 meters in the future. I look at what's around me, I take in my environment and learn to adapt to that. People do quite often forget to be present, forget about what's happening, and they don't really take everything in. So that's the beauty about the Dialogue in the Dark workshops. We strip you of all your technology, so you have to be in the moment. You have to learn to adapt to that environment and live now for what it is. There's no distractions or anything like that, which is very much how I live.
So then what happens when you do? When you don't look too far ahead and you don't look on your phone, but you look slightly ahead. What happens when you do?
That's where you get the richness of life. I feel like my life is rich when I'm without technology and when I'm not looking or planning so far into the future that I'm not living in the moment. I feel like that's where just the guts of life comes from there. That's where I get my richness and my happiness.
That is beautiful. So how would you summarize that in one message?
Imagine what's right in front of you and adapt. Because then you're living in the moment and not planning too far ahead.